All right, we're back for our next installment of Badging for Business. And David, in this second episode, we're going to be tackling the topic of customer support, service, and customer success in business, right? Maybe you can expand on that a little bit as
Yeah, I
to
mean, so
how we're going to come at this.
no, yeah, exactly. So a lot of people don't realize how digital badges can factor into that. And one of the use cases we discovered early on was that digital badges, they help you get more of something that you want and less of something that you don't want. And so this can really apply to a lot of business problems, but in that customer care area, customer support, customer success, all of those different areas, it really can make a huge difference. And I think there are a lot of different ways that it can happen. One is on the internal side, one is on the external side. And then there's a third part, which is part of the external side, and it's part of internal, external, is in a community or a collaborative between the internal and the external. And so we come up with some great ideas on how you can use digital badges to reduce those costs. And when you think about it, at large tech companies, a support call will cost more than $300, $350. I think the average call for support is more than $200. It's very, very expensive. And so these are things that are easy to measure if you can reduce them.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of ways I think to affect the whole idea of how you take care of your customers uh, relative to where digital credentialing can come into play there, right? And by the way, when we talk about customer support, customer service, customer success, and I look at those three as kind of increasing levels of attention that a client might receive from a business, it's not limited to just one industry or another, right? I mean, there's all sorts of customer support work that has to happen in the hospitality industry. If we look at banking and finance, obviously, high level, the high touch kind of environment there from a customer support standpoint. And obviously in the technology sector, right? Companies that are selling, software solutions or whatever it may be, you've got the technical support types of people, and there tends to be different levels depending on the complexity of what your needs are as a customer. Maybe you just need help installing something, or maybe we're having a problem with something, whatever it may be. So it's pretty broad range in terms of where this can work. And I think just as kind of a starting point, there's the really obvious sorts of areas where introducing digital credentialing can help with fine tuning or improving a support organization's capabilities. One of the things that you want to ensure that you're driving in that space within your business is engagement and motivation, right? Obviously, anybody that's going to have a touch point with a customer, with a client, you want them to be as knowledgeable and as skilled as possible for whatever their particular role is in terms of how they interact with the customer. It might be somebody just in a call center answering basic questions, could be just even over chat, right? But that interaction calls for a certain set of skills and capabilities, and you want to make sure that those individuals are engaging in whatever activities you have within your organization to help skill them up to do the best job they can possibly do. And not just to get engaged, you can always issue a mandate, right, to get people to attend training, but you really want to motivate them, right? If you can have people that are just motivated to do that versus reacting to a mandate, it's even better. So that would be, I think, a good starting point to talk about how digital credentialing can really start to bring increased value to how you support clients.
So there is really the training, and that's what you're talking about,
Yep.
is how do you make sure that the training and enablement and the skills and capabilities are there? But then there's also the recognition side of it. And so digital badges should be used to recognize people for achievements in customer care. And that would include everything from, were they able to get a higher NPS score for
Hmm.
their calls? Were they able to complete their calls more quickly? So did they have a shorter time, on time to resolution for a case? Are there other different types of metrics that would prove that a person is actually delivering superior customer care and customer support? And I think a lot of organizations overlook that. So the two areas basically for the internal side are the enablement and the capabilities, make sure people have those capabilities. And that's kind of a table stakes thing. But the other one is developing a strategy to give people rewards.
Yeah, absolutely. And you mentioned NPS, right? Obviously, any company that has a support organization to take care of customer needs and concerns and wants are going to have some way of measuring. They're going to have targets, in place. NPS is a perfect example of that. So, to your point, if you're recognizing individuals who are meeting or even better yet, exceeding those targets, that can really boost morale, right? And add an extra layer of encouragement um, to get not just that individual who's being recognized, but others who see that person getting recognized because of their maybe above and beyond level of service that they're providing to kind of encourage and motivate them as well to want to, you know, um, achieve the same kind of thing and be recognized for it. So I think that's really important point that you made there about like NPS and metrics that companies are looking at.
The other side of it's the external side. And I think this is the area that is really, really overlooked. Everything from the digital self-service to the advocacy for your products to the mentorship that can happen outside of your organization. So, I mean, a lot of organizations have some sort of digital self-service, whether it's a training program, whether it's, a community, other different types of things like that. But they don't do a good job, I think, keeping people engaged. And one of the ways you could do this is by providing people, your customers or clients, with a digital credential for getting the training. So if there is a training course that's out there for them to learn how to use the features and functions of your products or services, why not give them a digital badge for that? And then on top of that, if they give them a digital badge, if they are able to earn that digital badge, since you know that it's going to reduce those customer calls, why not give them another reward? It could be a reduction in their overall annual contract. It could be a special queue that they can come into, that they can jump the line and get into a special queue because they're, in a preferred class, because we know that they're going to be probably asking tier 2 or tier 3 questions. They're not going to be asking these foundational level questions on, how do I do XYZ? They're going to be asking something that's much more technical or specific.
I love that example, right, that you gave where maybe a client taking the time to really learn and understand how to use these self-service capabilities leading to earning credentials and then having the earning of credentials for a particular client push them into a category where they get some preferred access to benefits, whether to your point, it's some sort of discount on their annual service contract, or it's priority queue, in the queue if somebody does have to access that support mechanism that you have in place. And I think that's something that really goes overlooked far more often than not, right? And that's the kind of connection and that's why we're doing this podcast, is we want people to be able to make that connection between how digital credentials can have this ripple effect and how you can take advantage of that in ways that where you just get continuous positive return out of it. And so again, it's not about specifically about the credential. It's about what the credential's in service of and what kind of outcomes it can help drive. And that's just a great example that you gave.
Then the third area is the social aspects of the relationships that you have with your clients. And there's two different areas for that. One of them would be communities. If you have a community where people, or, some sort of, it could be everything. It's something as simple as Slack. It could be a Facebook community. It could be Substack. It could be a lot of different things that people are working and collaborating together in. So that's one area. And
Mhm.
and the great thing about that is if you're able to give people digital badges or some sort of recognition for participating in those communities, you can dramatically reduce your support calls. And we did a study that found that for every single post that a client or an employee put into a community, 7 people got an answer that deflected a call to the help desk. So it's a 7 to 1. So instead of those 7 calls coming into the help desk times, let's say the $300, it only cost 1 call, that $300. The call notes that came in from that call went into the community, or the customer put them in the community, or they answered questions in the community. Reduced the things by 7x.
Yeah, yeah. I think the idea of building a community culture and encouraging clients to give back in some way or contribute their experience, their knowledge for the benefit of others is absolutely serves as a great opportunity to build that culture. And I think a lot of organizations struggle to build these communities that can actually serve that need. And I think the reason why a lot of companies struggle to make that work is the lack of incentives, right? Or the lack of being able to recognize individuals who really stop, take the time to contribute valuable and useful information that others are benefiting from. And I've helped 2 or 3 different clients actually built out these kind of communities and wrap credentialing around it. So, and in some cases, it's based on, number of posts. It can be a lot of different metrics that you bring in. It might be the number of posts that you make over a given period of time could be one of the criteria that goes toward earning recognition for your involvement in the community. It might be the number of people that have read the post or given it a thumbs up might also come into that whole equation. And it can really, really be a game changer in the whole idea of sort of sourcing um, knowledge and skills and getting that you know, curated into a community for the benefit of others. I think, again, another great example.
And this last one I think was really interesting. And actually the idea came when I was at one of the largest companies in the world, and they were trying to understand how to use digital badges. So we had the training group come into the conference room, and we started talking about how to develop badge programs for training. But then some marketing people came into the room. These were the social media marketing people, and they were sitting in the back of the room, and it was really odd that they were in this training thing. And they said, we want to start giving digital badges for advocacy. We want people that use our products and services to be able to create and innovate and publish their stuff into social media. Let's say they created a little video, or they created some sort of, product or some sort of piece of code or something like that, and they put it up there. They said, what if we give them the recognition, give them this emblem that comes from our well-recognized brand, and we can then encourage more and more people to do that. So that's how you're going beyond just people that are going to be buying your products or using your products, but now they're actively advocating for it. They now have become brand ambassadors because of badges.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And, when you're doing that kind of thing, you're not just recognizing the advocacy, and making that person feel good, right? And there are great examples of recognizing advocacy. I think the single best example out there, and this some might think that this is a biased opinion on my part because I had a career at IBM, but I've looked very objectively across a lot of different industries, at a lot of different credentialing initiatives. And I've never seen anything that quite rises to the level of the IBM Champion program. And there's a whole credentialing initiative around the IBM Champion. And it's quite frankly, it's the highest level of recognition in regards to advocacy that can be issued to an IBM client or someone that works with IBM solutions and technology. I mean, it is the pinnacle. right, of what you can achieve. And it's stunning the kind of culture that has um, permeated from that and that has been built around that. It's just it's amazing. And that in turn helps, IBM in this case, or any other company that would be doing something similar. It really helps to differentiate your brand, right? Which kind of back to the whole marketing piece is something that you really want to do and really, kind of up your game in terms of brand reputation. And when you're doing that kind of thing and you're recognizing those individuals that are really out there flying your flag, so to speak, it can go a long ways toward improving differentiation and brand reputation, I think.
So there you have it, some good ideas on how you can reduce your support costs, how you can increase your, customer satisfaction, and then lead to actual advocacy where people aren't just happy about it, but now they're actively working as your brand ambassador, just using
Yeah.
PED.
Yeah. All great examples. And if anyone that's listening or watching this wants to learn more, I have to put a plug in for our masterclass at this point. And if you just go to Digital Badge Academy and you look under the services tab, you'll see masterclass and you can go there. And we've just recently published a new masterclass course. It's available on Udemy and it's over 5 hours of training. So the things that we've talked about today and in our first podcast and what we'll also talk about in some subsequent podcasts in this Badging for Business series, we go into a lot more detail in that master class. There's a lot of other thoughts and ideas and perspectives that we share throughout that. So, and it's only $199. It's cheap, right? So it's something that anyone that's interested in either setting up a credentialing program or they're looking for ways to further enhance their credentialing program would benefit from it. So just had to put that plug in there. So, all right. Thanks, David.
Thank
Really
you.
appreciate your thought leadership and what you've brought to this discussion. And everyone have a great day.
Thank you.
Are you ready to take your organization to the next level? Book a free, no obligation 1-hour coaching session with Digital Badge Academy. Discover how digital badges can help with upskilling and reskilling your workforce, enhancing employee engagement, and even boosting your organization's brand. Use the link shown here to book your free session today.